Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North, our top story tonight. Vigils are held at police stations across North Yorkshire after a police officer and a local man are hit and killed by a lorry.
Rosie really was the very best of North Yorkshire Police, and we need to make sure that we honour that memory.
We'll be live at police headquarters in Northallerton. Also tonight, looking back at the launch of Bradford's Year of Culture, we'll also ask the council why some schools remain closed today due to snow and ice. Why staff at hair and beauty salons in Yorkshire are encouraging women to go for cervical cancer screenings. And fancy owning your own piece of history? We visit the North Yorkshire tourist attraction that's just gone on the market.
And it's going to be a quiet and much milder week right across our region. Don't forget that week ahead forecast.
Hello, you're joining us for the first Look North of the week. Good to have your company. Vigils have been held at police stations in North Yorkshire following the death of PC Rosie Pryor, with Runter Dupe saying she exemplified public service. The off-duty officer had stopped a help driver, Ryan Welford, on the verge of the A19 on Saturday when they were both struck by a lorry and killed. A 65-year-old lorry driver was arrested. Today, a minute's silence was held at the Forces headquarters in Northallerton, and that's where Ollie Constable joins us from now. Ollie, this is so very sad.
It is indeed, Amy. This is one of those police stations where people gathered today. The flag behind me has been lowered as a mark of respect. Officers and staff gathering earlier to remember their colleague, PC Rosie Pryor, after she died at the side of the A19 at Bagby on Saturday. She'd been stopped to help fellow motorist Ryan Welford after he'd been involved in an earlier minor crash. It was there where they were both hit by a lorry and killed. A teenage boy who was a passenger in Mr. Welford's car was also hit and is in hospital tonight in a serious condition. But we've been hearing tributes from the people who knew the victims. We've heard from Mr. Welford's family, who said he was a hard-working and loving father, husband, son and brother, and would be greatly missed. PC Pryor's family said she was a loving mum, wife, daughter, sister and auntie, with her having joined the force in 2022 as a student officer because she wanted to help people. Well, Rob Bowles from the Police Federation said an investigation was ongoing. We'll hear from him in a second. But first, Deputy Mayor Joe Coles said colleagues of PC Pryor had been left distraught.
She was the very best of North Yorkshire Police. That came across really clearly in the tributes that were being made this morning, and certainly to the officers and staff that I've been speaking to. Rosie really was the very best of North Yorkshire Police, and we need to make sure that we honour that memory.
It's clear that that Rosie was a truly dedicated officer. She was truly an exemplary police officer, and you know, a consummate professional. And I've absolutely no doubt that she would want us to continue to do exactly what we are doing, you know, providing the best public service that we possibly can.
Well, Home Secretary Yvette Cooper earlier today spoke in the Commons and started by paying tribute to the victims.
PC Pryor's death is a tragic reminder of the dedication and bravery that police officers show every single day to keep us safe, and all our thoughts are with her family, friends and colleagues at this difficult time.
Well, a police investigation continues with a 65-year-old man from Berwick-upon-Tweed being arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. He's been released under investigation. Any witnesses to the crash or those with information are urged to get in touch with North Yorkshire Police.
Ollie, thank you. Next tonight, a man on trial for murdering a teenager in Leeds has told a jury he heard screaming but didn't see the killing. 18-year-old Jamie Mee was stabbed to death and another teenager was seriously injured after they were attacked in a taxi and dragged out of the vehicle by a gang of men in Armley in 2023. 23-year-old Ranai Wilkes denies murder and attempted murder. Our Home Affairs correspondent Emma Glasby reports from court.
Today, Ranai Wilkes went into the witness stand to give evidence in his defence. The 23-year-old told the jury that he had been in a car in Leeds chilling with 3 men who were selling drugs. And he said the other men bounced out, as he described it, when they saw someone with a knife in Armley. The trial has heard there was then a vicious, brutal and barbaric attack in which 18-year-old Jamie Meir was stabbed to death and a 16-year-old was seriously injured. Now, Mr. Wilkes claims that he stayed in the car throughout because he thought he could be seriously harmed. He said that he heard screaming, but he could not see what was happening and just wanted to get away. He told the court that when he later heard a boy had died, he said, "My heart fell out." During cross-examination, the prosecutor, Mr. Imran Shafi KC, said, "You were the man with the knife who banged on the windows and stabbed Jamie Meir in the taxi." Mr. Wilkes responded, "I was not." He told the jury, "I had no involvement in the assault or stabbings of these males. I do not know these males." 3 other men who the prosecution say were involved in the murder, Caleb Orr, Enam Nishat and Akwe Jeffers, fled the UK after the killing and they remain at large. Mr. Wilkes told the jury he travelled with these men to Ireland after the killing because he did not know what to do. He then went on to Paris and Turkey, but said that he arranged to come back to the UK to hand himself in, as he put it, because he said he wanted to clear his name. Mr. Wilkes denies murder and attempted murder. The trial is continuing.
Emma Glasby at Leeds Crown Court there for us. Elsewhere today, it's emerged that an actor who was born in West Yorkshire is among the 24 dead in the Los Angeles wildfires. Rory Sykes' mother, Shelley Sykes, has said she is heartbroken, calling him a wonderful son. The 32-year-old stayed in his home despite an evacuation order. A Football Association report into the circumstances surrounding the death of a former Sheffield United player is complete and will be shared with the coroner this week. The pre-inquest review hearing into Maddie Cusack's death took place in Chesterfield today. Following her death in 2023, Miss Cusack's family complained at the club about the conduct of former women's team manager Jonathan Morgan. The MP for Rotherham has joined calls for a national inquiry into grooming gangs. Sarah Champion, who's campaigned on the issue of sexual abuse, says the problem is endemic in the UK and needs to be reorganised as a national priority. The Prime Minister has so far refused calls for fresh inquiry, saying the focus should be on taking action now. You are watching Monday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. It was Harrogate v Leeds this weekend. We'll catch up on the FA Cup action. But before that, how about this? Organisers say 20,000 people attended the launch of Bradford's Year of UK City of Culture over the weekend. The scheme is designed to use culture and art to boost visitor numbers and improve the city's reputation. But the council has faced criticism over school closures due to the snow and ice and the lack of an operation for a multi-million-pound music venue in the city. Now, there was some criticism as well on Friday that despite schools being schools being closed last week, so some 200 we saw in Bradford had closed, the event still went ahead. Spencer Stokes has been investigating.
I just want to see Bradford rise. There's so much love for the place I'm from. I just want to see Bradford rise.
An open-air spectacle to launch Bradford's year-long cultural festival. Friday and Saturday night saw thousands of people flock to City Park for a show that included rappers, poets, musicians, dancers and the magician Stephen Frayne. One reviewer said the theme was warts and all, pride, unity and diversity. This, the reaction from some of those who turned out in the cold to watch.
Super excited for Bradford 2025. It's going to be great.
Something really positive for Bradford. Bradford's had its ups and downs, but this is definitely a moment for up.
This is our time now. It's our time to celebrate, and we're going to show the world how brilliant Bradford really is.
Today the stage was being taken down after a bitter cold snap that saw hundreds of schools closed and travel disrupted, leading to criticism that the council focused on the show rather than clearing roads and pavements.
Our council staff were out all over the district, shoveling snow, gritting. 4,500 tonnes of grit have actually been distributed across the district.
Schools couldn't open because there was no grit for the pavements, but at the same time there was bucket loads of the stuff going down in City Park so that the opening event could go ahead.
So the gritters were doing everything. So they were ISOL and doing pavement gritting near schools and on roads. So all that goes on behind the scenes, and I don't think people always see that work that's going on day in, day out.
21 schools across the district opened late or remained shut this morning, including this one on the edge of the city centre. The pavements around here, even 9 days on from the snow falling, are still extremely icy, very slippy to walk on. The school, though, is hoping it can get open tomorrow. Many of Bradford's forthcoming cultural events will be in much warmer venues than City Park. This is one of them. But Bradford Live can't open yet because the company appointed to run it pulled out last year.
We have already said, of course, that during 2025 that venue will be open and that people will be able to enjoy it as part of the celebrations.
Do you think there'll be performances in there?
Yeah, absolutely, that's what I mean. So it will be open during 2025 for performances so that people can go in and enjoy the performance and see the space.
The official opening of Bradford 2025 was greeted with enthusiasm. Organisers will be hoping that passion can be maintained throughout the year and will feed into the city's self-confidence. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North, Bradford.
Well, Rise, that performance that you saw there certainly pulled in the crowds. 20,000 people and 200 volunteers, including Greg and Munro, who were right up there on that stage. Have you recovered yet, Greg?
Just about. It was very cold and very exhausting in terms of mentally kind of thing doing it, but yeah, it was fun and I'm over it now.
How was it for you, Munro? Because I know you love being on the stage. What was this like?
It was so cool because we'd be on there and then you could like see all the crowd and then they'd all have their torches just waving and it was so cool to see all of them.
Were you nervous at all?
I was nervous, but that kind of a nervous where you're more excited than nervous.
Yeah.
It's like giddy.
And what about you, Dad? Were you nervous?
I think like everyone, because we'd rehearsed so much, we were so ready to get out there and the energy of the crowd kind of thing, the nerves just went away and we were just so eager to do it and it was so much fun. So
we can see you there. Oh, you just missed it. But we saw you there and you did some really cool things that you'd prepared for, hadn't you? Which was sort of like acrobatics and aerials, if you like. Tell us a bit about that, Munro.
Well, we got taken to like this gym place and we got put up in harnesses and they'd lift us, rise us up and then we could spin, we could go upside down and we'd get help from professionals and then they'd green screen us. They had the background green screen so it looked like we were kind of like flying.
Oh, well, it was so impressive on the night. It looked brilliant and being there, it felt like such a big community celebration. How did it feel for you, Greg?
Oh, absolutely. It was just so lovely. The energy of the crowd, it was so positive and so, you know, like we obviously did 2 nights. We did the Friday and the Saturday, and the first night with the Friday we had our headsets in, but the second night we all kind of took one out so we could really feel the energy because you kind of get, because we're in those cubes, you were kind of in our own little bubbles kind of thing. So the second night we all took out one ear out and could really feel the energy of the crowd, and it's just something I don't think we'll ever forget or ever be able to top, really.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that. Well done to both of you. We loved watching you on stage.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you can catch a behind-the-scenes look of how Rise was made in Bradford's Big Bash. That's on BBC One and on the iPlayer from Friday the 17th of January. That's at 7:30 as well, so that's this Friday. Next tonight, staff at hair and beauty salons are being trained to encourage women to take up the invitation of cervical cancer screening. The Humber and North Yorkshire Cancer Alliance is behind the campaign, and it says salons are safe spaces where women can have a conversation which can help save lives. Phil Bodman reports now from Scarborough, where just 55% of women attend cervical screenings.
Hello, Yorkshire Beauty Clinic, Louise speaking. At this Scarborough beauty salon, staff are encouraged to talk with their clients about getting screened for cervical cancer. For co-owner Juliet, it's an issue close to her heart. A breast cancer survivor, she knows firsthand about the importance of regular checks.
99.8% of all cervical cancer is preventable, curable. Just get there, take your appointment up. It's 10 minutes out of your life. It's life-changing.
Hi, Juliet. How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. How's it going with the campaign?
Some people just want to take a leaflet and go, which is fine as
The
well.
Humber and North Yorkshire Cancer Alliance has offered free training to the region's hair and beauty salons where take-up of screening is low.
But really what is valuable is these intimate conversations that people have where people can share their worries and fears about accessing screening, have a chat about how you overcome those issues and really have a chat about how important it is as well.
So have you had your check, Nikki?
I have actually, yeah. I had it a couple of months ago.
It's thought the lower take-up in places like Scarborough may be down to multiple factors, including economic deprivation, the screening procedure and a lack of public messaging.
I unfortunately see, obviously, the worst case scenario, sort of end of life, which is tragic for the families because they've often got young children, which is really heartbreaking. So it really drives it home, and it makes you realise, you know, the absolute importance of getting screening as early as possible.
2 lives are lost every day to cervical cancer in England. By talking openly, it's hoped more women can be diagnosed and treated before it's too late. Phil Bottomer, BBC Look North, Scarborough.
Us women gossip about all sorts in the hair and beauty salon, don't we, Sally? So that seems very apt. Good to see you. How many layers were you wearing at Ellen Road at the weekend?
4, but I needed more. It was absolutely freezing, yeah. It was a big weekend in the FA Cup, and Doncaster Rovers provided one of the upsets, beating Championship side Hull City on penalties. They will now play Premier League club Crystal Palace in the 4th round of the FA Cup. In a tense penalty shootout in the 3rd round yesterday, it was Harry Clifton who scored the winner, sparking jubilant scenes at the Eco Power Stadium.
I'm really pleased with my team today, the effort that they put in all the way through to extra time, and then my goalkeepers made, you know, a very good save to win. So, but look, we knew we were coming against a really good team, a whole team that's on the up, and I couldn't be more pleased.
It just felt so amazing. Like, that's my football club, and we are now through to the next round of the FA Cup, and the further you go, the more exciting it gets, which is obviously for a club like Doncaster Rovers, just out of this world, astounding, amazing.
Harrogate Town's hopes for a similar upset against neighbours Leeds were dashed on Saturday, but the League Two side did manage to hold United to just 1 goal in a game that was enjoyed by 4,000 travelling fans, all up for a big day out. Leeds and Harrogate may be neighbours, but football-wise they are miles apart. Leeds currently league leaders at the top of the Championship, while Harrogate fighting relegation towards the bottom of League Two. But that hasn't stopped more than 4,000 fans travelling here to Ellen Road to watch the two teams compete for the very first time.
It's just really nice. They come here with their granddad, who's a Leeds season ticket holder, and we're coming here because it's a special fixture. Obviously we want Harrogate to win because it would maybe mean a bit more to them. It's a bit of a David and Goliath, isn't it?
Is it your first time at Ellen Road?
It is my first time at Ellen Road.
What are you expecting about the atmosphere?
It's just going to be quite lively, I think.
Are you looking forward to it?
Yes, yeah, I love the atmosphere. I wasn't a Leeds fan. He's managed to convert me after all these years. Go Leeds!
My history was I played for Harrogate Town in the early to mid-80s. So I'm here, got split loyalties today, really. I'm a Leeds fan through and through, but there's always a bit of Harrogate in my heart.
It's the beauty of the FA Cup, innit? And anything can happen, that, you know.
Oh, don't say that. No, don't say that.
Walking into Ellen Road for one of the biggest days in their calendar, Harrogate Town's players steeled themselves for a potentially bracing encounter.
And off we go.
Leeds had 73% of the possession before the break. Harrogate had their defences up.
That was nearly one.
The second half was much livelier with a couple of hopeful Harrogate attacks. And it wasn't until the 58th minute that Ramazani found the back of the net for Leeds, scoring the game's only goal.
It's sink or swim moments in people's careers, and
they swam tonight, and so proud of each individual in our team.
Well done to Harrogate. I think they played an excellent game today in terms of defending, but I'm also pleased that we progressed through into the next round, that we won the game, back to winning ways, back to a clean sheet.
So no upsets here at Ellen Road, but no mauling either. Harrogate put on a spirited performance in the second half. There's no shame at all in their 1-0 defeat to their bigger neighbours. And Leeds, they're going through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Leeds and Doncaster are the only two teams remaining in the FA Cup from our region now, after Sheffield Wednesday lost out to Coventry on penalties. Elsewhere in League One, Rotherham coasted to victory over the Bolton Wanderers on Saturday. Goals from Malik Wilkes, Reece James and Sam Norbay helped the Millers to a 3-1 victory and 13th place in the table. And that for now is your sport, Amy.
Sally, thank you very much. Now take a look at this. It must be one of the most unusual sales ever. A prisoner of war camp, and yours for the right price. Included in the sale are several tanks, a model submarine. Eden Camp near Malton attracts 125,000 visitors a year, but now it's been put on the market and Kathy Killick has been for a viewing. I'm sure she's tempted.
How on earth do you put a price on this? 6 acres of former prisoner of war camp, now a successful museum bulging with precious artefacts. Eden Camp is for sale because the owners want to retire, so they're looking for that special person who'll look after it as they have.
It's certainly not up for redevelopment. The museum will be sold as a going concern, as an attraction and a museum, and that's absolutely imperative because, it's a national treasure, and as such it needs to be, looked after, and we need the right custodians to take it forward for the next 40 years.
Included in the sale are the 40-odd huts which were originally built in 1942 to house Italian prisoners of war. Some of their ID cards survive as part of the camp's collection, and each hut now contains a treasure trove of objects covering different aspects of World War II, from life as a submariner to surviving the home front and, of course, what it was like to be an inmate of the camp.
So here we have a very, very small selection of some of the artefacts that were actually made by the POWs whilst interned.
Wow, what did they do for tools? How did they do it?
Well, they just picked nails up and incidentals. When they used to go out and work on the farms, they'd pick a flint up and they'd carve with a flint, and that's how they made them. It's absolutely incredible.
It was Howard's dad, Stan, that saved Eden Camp. He bought it in 1984 when it was being used for rearing pheasants. He intended to build a crisp factory, but a chance meeting changed his mind.
3 ex-POWs turned up one day and asked if they could have a look around. And they had a look around and talked to my dad for a couple of hours, and then came back the following day. And then Dad went away to America with Mum on holiday, and they visited Pearl Harbor.
A seed was sown, and Stan opened the first modern history-themed museum in the country. It was profitable from day one, and that bodes well for finding a buyer now.
We've already had interest from Europe. We might get interest from the likes of the Channel Islands, and I think really because of the subject matter and the fact that there was quite a lot of US Air Force based here in the World War II, we'll even get some interest from the US.
Putting a value on this slice of history is near impossible. It's worth what a buyer will pay, and no one knows that yet. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Eden Camp.
Oh, they don't mention a price to their priceless bit of history there. Paul is with us now, as you can tell. Paul, it's so nice to feel a bit of warmth, isn't it? But we know in the past that when the snow has melted, it has brought issues. Are we expecting any of that this time?
I mean, it has done in the past. I mean, I just want to start that answer by showing you some footage from Greenhow, which just gives an indication as to how much snow there is. Now, this is in between Grassington and Pateley Bridge as you go over into Wharfdale. I mean, it's feet deep on the sides of the roads. That's yesterday afternoon. Gosh. So it's a different world. I mean, Leeds city centre, Doncaster, Sheffield, basically the snow's gone. but there's still an awful lot of snow up there. So we can thank our lucky stars that this is going to be a slow melt. So the thaw's on over the next few days, but crucially, not associated with any rainfall, so we can breathe easy. There won't be any flooding associated with it.
We forget we're only in the beginning of January, aren't we? So
yeah.
Winter, we're still very much into it.
Very much into it. Somebody said to me the other day, is that it? Well, we can't say. I mean, there's a long way to go. We had a cold snap end of November. Obviously, we've just had one. Don't forget the Beast from the East in 2018 was the end of February. I'm not going to say we're going to have one of those, but I would think we've got probably got another cold spell at some point.
And we've had snow in March before as well.
Well, we've had snow in June. June the 2nd, a cricket match was snowed off in Buxton. Enough of this. Let me show you the address if you've got any questions you want to send to me, and I'll answer them every Monday. It's a must-watch part of Look North. I'm sure you'll all agree. Let me show you, says me. Let me show you a couple of pictures that have been sent in. Beautiful start to the day. That was London Foot. And many people saw that. The sky was a vivid orange around about 7:15 this morning. And there's a similar one that's about to hit your screens. There we are, Headingley, a beautiful orange sky. So keep the pictures coming in. You can send them to me on X, on Instagram, and you can send them on the Weather Watcher website too. So the headline is very definitely milder tomorrow. Temperatures back in double figures. So we're going from -11, which we had on Saturday night across the Dales, to +10 tomorrow afternoon widely across our region. A lot of cloud associated with this mild air that's coming up from way down south, but there'll be a few sunny breaks, and apart from just a little drizzle mainly over the hills in the next 18 hours, it looks predominantly dry. There's a weak cold front. It is going to bring some patchy light rain and drizzle to the Pennine Hills. Elsewhere, it looks set to be dry. So it's a night of variable, often large amounts of cloud, damp and dreary over the Pennine tops. Elsewhere, it should be mostly fine, and crucially, it looks frost-free. We're looking at temperatures down to 3 or 4 at their lowest levels. So tomorrow's high water time, Scarborough 4:13, Bridlington at 4:38. So it does look quite a cloudy day tomorrow. Some drizzle and light rain for a time over the Pennines. Elsewhere, it's dry. And as the breeze picks up, you can see we're hinting at a few breaks coming through across more northeastern parts of Yorkshire. A little bit of sunshine York towards Malton and Scarborough in the afternoon. And look at these temperatures. 10 Celsius, that's balmy. 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's fine and relatively mild, although temperatures dropping back to near normal levels by the end of the week. That's the forecast.
We're going to be sweating midweek, aren't we, in all those thermals? You know, many people dread Mondays, but Paul loves it because he gets a full 4 minutes on Look North.
We need more. I need 5.
No, 4's quite enough. That's it from us. Bye-bye for now.